Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. We'll go ahead and jump right into it. Our first question, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, hi, my name is Jeff Kikel. I am the CEO of T-Werx Coworking, which is a co-working and entrepreneur center in the Austin, Texas area, as well as I'm also the president of BK Wealth Consulting. So I'm the president and co-founder of that. So a little bit of working with entrepreneurs on the beginnings of their lives, and also a little bit later on in the exit side of things.
That's fantastic. We share a similar interest with entrepreneurs, so I love it. Yep. Question number 2, what's the best thing about working with a team?
Well, I mean, for me, it's very easy. I started out my life in the military. I was an Army Ranger, spent 5 years of my life doing that. So I've been working in teams ever since. I always pretty much kind of navigate or guide myself towards a team. I don't like working independently. I like working as part of a team. And I do that in my business, and COVID's been a kind of a challenge because I had to trim the team a little bit in some cases. And, I realized how little I was able to accomplish when I had to do everything myself. So, I mean, I am on board 100% with teams.
Well, that's great. Well, first of all, thank you for your service in the Army. And also my heart goes out to you and your staff there for having to make some adjustments there. But yeah, it really does help us to understand how important teams are. So thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Question number 3, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
Oh, I think that's true. It can be challenging if you don't frame it correctly. If you are that manager or leader that is constantly pushing and telling people this is what you need to do, this is how you need to do it, they're just not bought into things. And if they're not bought in, they're just not motivated. They don't, especially as an entrepreneur, they don't get it. I mean, they get a paycheck. They know they're going to get a paycheck every week. We as entrepreneurs don't have that option. I mean, I have to make my paycheck every week. And so that's, you have to understand that they're not necessarily going to be as motivated as you are to get things done. So you have to figure out ways to make them buy into it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Could not agree more. Question number 4, what other piece of advice would you offer to leaders of teams?
Well, I think, along that lines of what I talked about in the previous question, it's really making sure that your employees have buy-in from the very beginning. Give them the ability to make mistakes without without basically burning them and, berating them. I'll give you a great example of this. My new director of marketing / community manager in one of my co-working spaces, she's my only employee in that business right now besides myself and my wife. And what I've done from the very minute that she started was, all right, here's what I'm looking for. Now you go do it. And I want you to just get it done, bring it back to me, and then you tell me why I should like this. And from that point on, she has just jumped into it. She's, learning a ton of different stuff from digital marketing to, email marketing that she's never done before. But I'm giving her that ability to make mistakes and not beat her up about it. It's just, hey, you made a mistake. Here's what I want you to do differently. Boom. And I mean, she has progressed so fast in such a short period of time. Been an absolute amazing thing. And I think it was setting that from the very, very beginning, setting that up. And that's not a natural state for me. I tend to want to dominate because that's my personality. And I'm really trying to not do that specifically with her.
Well, especially as the entrepreneur owner, we take a lot of pride in our company and representation. So there is that tendency, you're absolutely right. There is that tendency to want to hold on to every detail, but I completely agree that the way you've handled it is the best way to go, which is to give them that ownership and let them run with it. And they'll make some mistakes, but they'll do some great, amazing things that we wouldn't think of otherwise if it's just us. And so that's a great lesson. So thank you for sharing it. Well, question number 5, what other leaders of teams, successful leaders of teams, such as yourself, would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
Well, I tell you, the meeting I was just at before this, I had a meeting with one of my absolute favorite clients and really my mentor when it comes to leadership. His name is Ed Trevis. He is the CEO of Covalent Corporation. So Covalent is a computer company that builds non-destructible computers. So basically it's oil fields, military, medical applications and stuff like that. And Ed, hands down, is the best team leader, of a CEO that I have ever known. He is my idol when it comes to that. He's the most caring person I know, has built a team of people that absolutely love him and would literally, jump in front of a bullet for him half the time.
Wow, he sounds like a great individual. So thank you for recognizing him.
Absolutely amazing guy.
Well, 6th and final question. Tell us about your first job.
Oof. So my first job was working for a really good friend of mine's dad, who owned a machine shop when I was 15. So our job was during the summertime, they used to salvage oil field bits. And how you salvage those was to put an oil field bit into a 3,000 degree furnace, heat them up white hot, and then pull them out and shake them, and then take the carbide bits out and the silver solder that was in there. Then take those and put those into sulfuric acid to get the silver solder off. So we would do this during the summertime. We'd work for him starting at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon in Texas. Summertime in Texas is anywhere from 95 to 100 degrees. We had to work at night because, it was still like 85 degrees, and inside the shop, it would be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 180 to 200 degrees. So you could literally only stand in there for about 5 minutes, do your work, and then get out, and we would literally just collapse in the back of our trucks. Probably one of the hardest jobs I've ever had in my life. We made no money at all. In fact, he kind of paid us. I can say this now because he's gone, but he was just like, all right, I'm not going to really pay you on a regular basis. Just when you need money, write it down in the book how much you want to get paid, and then, and I'll pay you he just paid us out of his wallet. But we had some of the most memorable experiences doing that job, but God, it was brutal.
Boy, it sure sounds like it. That's intense. That's a very interesting way to be compensated too. So
my next job after that was jumping out of airplanes for a living as an Army Ranger. So that should tell you how bad that job was.
Oh my, that's an upgrade for you. Well, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
Best way is www.bkawealth, Bravo Kilo Alpha Wealth.com. That's our website, or www.T-Werx.com. Either place, those are my businesses, and you can get a hold of me through there.
Great. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can find us on LinkedIn by searching Blue Sky Business Consulting. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great day.